From the misty Pacific coast to the rugged Cascade Mountains and beyond to the high desert in the east, you are listening to the Oregon First Hunting and Fishing Podcast.
Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Bryant, and I'm the host of the Oregon First Hunting and Fishing Podcast, and today we are recording in my office with Carl Lewallen. So the reason we're in my office is because I am remodeling the studio. Keep an eye out for that. That's going to be fun. It's a lot bigger in this space that we're in and a little less echoey. So, you know, we'll do the best we can. Sound good?
Yes, sounds
Great.
really good.
I just wanted to say, please remember to follow us wherever you'd like in order to stay up to date with what we have going on. We take people on hunting trips, fishing trips, trap shooting. You know, we do lots of fun stuff. If you want to be able to participate in those events, go ahead and if you're on Facebook, go ahead and join our group at Salem First Hunting and Fishing Club. And there, you know, we try to get people together and support each other as we're learning how to hunt, or maybe even hunting for a while and you just want some buddies, or fishing for a while, you just want some buddies to connect with. We'd love to see you there. Make sure to share the show. If you can get one person to listen to our show, if everyone got one person to listen to our show, it would double our reach, which is kind of cool to think about. So make sure you share the show if you like it. If you got some buddies who like to hunt and fish in Oregon, we'd love to have them as a part of the crew. And just a heads up, no official date yet, but our next event on the calendar, it's going to be in December, and we're going to go duck hunting once again. That's always a fun time. We've done it a few years now in a row, and everyone has a great time. Every year we have people who have never duck hunted in their life go home with limits. Sure, there are a lot of diver ducks, but, you know, when you're a new hunter, you don't care. And then there's some opportunity for some better ducks out there a lot of the time too. So it's a fun time. Make sure you're keeping an eye out for that duck hunting in December. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Oregon Sportspack Slam, lightning accidents in the news, outdoor nutrition, and have a conversation with our guest, Carl Lewallen. Carl is an avid outdoorsman and a lifelong athlete. He has participated in sports for his entire life, whether as a player or as a coach. He has been participating in hunting for his whole life as well, as soon as he was old enough to hunt. And he takes the knowledge he gained about fitness, nutrition, and athleticism into the field, which allows him to hunt hard, perform the best while he's out in some rugged country. So I'm excited to talk to Carl today about that. Carl is also now a part owner. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I have a small percentage. Yes.
Yeah, a part owner in Rec Pac, and he goes around in Oregon to a lot of the shows and represents Rec Pac, which is a convenient and lightweight meal replacement that only requires water, right?
Yes, correct.
Just add water and eat it.
Yeah,
no
need to heat the water either.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear more about Rec Pac as well and how that can help us with our hunting nutrition needs. So let's get into icebreakers. Sound good?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Fishing or hunting?
Fishing and hunting?
Fishing or hunting?
Both, all of it.
Both?
Outdoors.
Okay. All right. So you do fish quite a bit?
Yes.
All right. What's your fish of choice?
Honestly, I like to disappear into the small streams, high cascade, high lakes, and fish small trout.
Okay.
All day long. Do a lot of catch and release.
Oh, that's fun. You know, so my co-host Gage was supposed to be here today but couldn't make it, and I wish he was here because he over the summer has fallen in love with the trout game.
Oh, okay.
And so that's new for him, but you know he's all excited about that. Every time he gets a chance to slip out and go catch some trout, he's always texting me like, "I caught trout. You should come try this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to, but it's elk season, dude."
Nice. I wish he was here. I mean, I got some extensive knowledge on a lot of the streams and lakes, and I've actually written a couple of different articles on some of my experiences.
Okay. Where can those articles be found?
It would be some older magazines with the Northwest Sportsman, previous, like a couple of years ago. So
sure. Yeah. All right. That's cool. Nice. But hunting is really what we're talking about today the most.
Yeah.
mostly because of the amount of hiking involved. But it sounds like you don't make fishing easy on yourself.
No. That also plays into hunting because as I'm out there, there's no off season. I'm always scouting, always looking for new area.
Yeah.
Where the animals might be or not be.
Well, animals love water.
Yep.
And the last time I checked, where do fish live? Yeah, in the water. So that's helpful. Let's get some more icebreakers here. Bow or rifle?
When I was younger, I started out rifle, but really got hooked on archery hunting in high school. And have never looked back. And it's always just been archery for everything for me. So,
yeah.
I got a lot of friends that do rifle, and I'll go out with people and friends and family.
Yep.
But for me, I'm strictly archery.
Yeah. My roots too are blacktail rifle. That's like what got me started, what I love, and that's the thing I'm the best at. But because of scheduling reasons, this year and last year are archery buck for me. So I was lucky enough to get an archery buck on my first time archery deer hunting. I was archery elk hunted before that, but switched over to archery deer this year or last year. And so we'll see how this year goes. But I'm also planning on tree stand hunting, which would be a first for me as well.
Yeah, that's gonna take some patience, and the plus to archery hunting blacktail here in Oregon is you do get that late season in November, which really allows you to concentrate on nothing but blacktail hunting. And I've done a little of both from tree stand to spot and stock. So, the opportunities are out there.
Yeah. No, and the unit I'm hunting in is a doe or a buck for the general tag.
Yes.
So that's going to be helpful, at least, you always kind of get cocky with those kind of tags because you're like, oh, I'll fill it no matter what. And I mean, I was skunked on the 615, if you're familiar with that tag.
Yes, very. I mean,
that's a
familiar.
long season, and that's any deer. And I kept holding out. I'm going to find the buck. And then the last week of season comes, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go shoot a doe, and I never saw a doe. So, Anyway.
That thing is like 6 months long. So.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have an excuse for that. Deer or elk?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I love the elk hunting aspect and the terrain and the toughness and the ability to be able to call in, a big bull. But at the same time, I love the aspect of the late season hunt in November for blacktail because they are so elusive and it's a challenge.
Yep.
And I don't know. I guess I like that challenge.
Do you, and this is the next question then. So in that deer hunting, do you prefer to go up the Cascades, or do you like to go toward the coast?
I do a little bit of both. I have some area in the Cascades, and it all weather dependent, snow levels. And then when I am limited on time, then I try to hit the things close to my home, which is in the Coast Range.
Yeah.
And that's really a tough one as far as like the deer, because you run the chance in the higher Cascades to get a bench leg, so you're gonna have a little larger body, a little larger set of horns than some of your true coastal blacktails.
Yep. That's one thing that's on my blacktail bucket list as well, is to get one of those high Cascade bench legs, but I haven't made it happen yet. So I just can't get off the coast. It's hard.
It's interesting that you say that, because one of my goals is to do a true coastal blacktail. And I mean, I'm talking, I've gotten a couple of areas that I actually park right on the beach and I hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I want a true coast buck.
With the ocean in the background.
Exactly.
Yep. I feel you there. That's, I literally wrote down a blacktail bucket list. And so it's funny you say that too, because on my list is kill a buck with the ocean in the background.
Well, we're gonna have to talk away from the mic, and I'll give you some locations.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Generous. Yeah. Don't say it on the mic though, because I'll edit that out. All right. Last icebreaker. Let's stick with deer. Okay. We're deer hunting. Would you rather hunt on a rainy and warmer day or a super cold, windy day?
It all depends on the time of the year too, because those bucks or deer in general, they do different things at different times of the year depending on weather. And, I've had those days out there where it's been windy and cold, and the bucks or deer in general just seem to want to hunker down and stay in place. And then the same with those warmer, dry days, the same thing. They don't want to get out in the heat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a toss-up. I'd like to have something like right in the middle. Something
really?
That's not too rainy and windy, and something that's not too hot or just no wind at all.
Yep. A lot of guys talk about they love the days that just pour all day long. But for me, I've seen far more bucks when it's rain, stop, rain, stop, rain, stop throughout the day. Because what happens is it stops raining, and then all of a sudden the deer are all standing up, and I see deer, and that's just like that. To me, that's the perfect day, is when it's raining and off and on rain throughout the day.
Yeah.
Especially, you just talking rifle, you get toward the end of October, it's just like, that's deer time, it really is for the rifle hunter. But like I said, not very experienced archery hunting deer, so I don't really know how it works in November for that.
Well, if you can catch, and if your goal is to take a buck, especially during the rut is the key times.
Yeah.
And regardless of the weather, you need to be out there almost every single day during the rut, and that's going to give you your best chance and best opportunity. And for some of those guys that say they like those really rainy days, you sit in that tree stand all day when it's dumping rain, and then you tell me that.
Yeah, maybe you need to put a pop-up blind on your tree stand, keep you dry.
Yeah.
Hey, is that another product invention we're thinking of there?
No, I do believe there's a couple of things out there.
All right.
Yeah.
How about a camouflage umbrella?
I actually do have one of those. And it's a half umbrella. It's a
perfect.
It's a combination. You could use it for like a setting blind for like turkey hunting.
Oh man.
Or it's shaped to be able to wrap around the tree and strap it above your head.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's perfect. Where'd you get that from?
I can't remember.
Man.
I've had it for years.
I haven't seen that. So that's cool. Sweet. All right, well, now it's time for the Outdoors Rewind. Few things going on. I just wanted to bring up the Oregon Sportspack Slam real quick. We've been talking about it for a little while now, but we are doing a recognition of anyone who kills every big game animal in the sports pack this year. So, turkeys managed as a big game animal. So you got your turkey, deer, elk, bear, cougar. That's 5 animals to try to get. And we're going to put your name on a plaque. We're going to send you a certificate. We're going to send you a t-shirt. And Dead On Archery in Idaho is going to put your name in a drawing for $500 prize. So that as much as we're making a big thing about it, it's all just for fun. But we are going to vet each entry. So we need a couple witnesses and some photos of each animal that we can really make sure you're being legit and that these all were taken in 2025. But we're hoping if it goes well, we'll do it every year after this. And then maybe we'll open it up to prorate past years that, it doesn't happen very often. It takes a serious hunter to pull that off. And so anyway, it's all for fun. And you should be thankful if you get to hunt all 5 of those animals because, life is busy, life is hard. And for most people, most hunters, we don't get to go out for everything. But, so the application is available in our link tree, which you can find in our social media bios. And I always put the link at the bottom of the episode description. So make sure if you have a buddy who's done it and he is bashful or maybe doesn't know about it, go ahead and sign him up. And just make sure that you have the witnesses and the evidence there. And we'll be excited to see those roll in after 2025 is over.
Yeah, perfect. Well, in that case, I'll have to get my brother-in-law on board. The only thing he's lacking right now is a cougar. He's
really?
filled every other day. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's been a really good year for him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did he do spring bear?
Yep.
Spring bear. And then did he archery hunt for deer and elk?
Yeah, he archery hunted for deer and elk.
Got both of them in September, huh?
His deer the second weekend of archery.
Wow.
And then during that same week, he ended up getting his elk.
Okay. Yeah, what about turkey?
He's already got got the turkey too.
Yeah.
I can't remember when he went out for that. But
has he set a goal for the Sportspack Slam, or he just is hunting
he's just an
out?
avid hunter. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Tell him he needs to get on a cougar.
Cool.
Has he taken one before?
As far as a cat, I don't think so. And if he did, it would have been, back when you were able to run.
Hound him. Yeah.
Use hounds. That would have been the only time that I know of that he's taken one.
Yeah. Man, well, once the snow starts coming, man,
predator call.
He has a high opportunity moment.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
Perfect.
Yeah. So let him know about that.
Okay.
You can give him I'll give you another sticker if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but other than that, what's going on in the outdoors? Archery elk is over. For a lot of units, archery deer is over for the general tags. Rifle deer begins on the Saturday after we record this, so at the end of this week.
Yeah.
And salmon are still hitting hard. Duck season's just around the corner. Lots going on, right? Fall is here.
There's always something out there. I mean, like I said earlier, there is no off season really.
Yep. As long as you have the drive and the time and the desire, you could hunt 365 days a year in Oregon.
Yeah, for sure. Always something.
Yeah. And, I grew up in Oregon. That's all that I know is the PNW hunting culture where we have elk and 3 different types of deer and, all these. We could hunt anything here.
Yeah.
I always think about the guys from like the eastern side of the U.S. who, they all hunt whitetail, right?
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
There's some big bear hunting out there in some states.
In some states, yeah.
Yeah, but we have a pretty special area that we get to.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse. You got 2 different species of elk. Personally, I haven't heard of it or seen it. You get that overlap between those 2 also. So,
really?
you could potentially throw a 3rd species in there.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either.
I have not backed that up yet. But, the same with the deer.
Makes sense, if they're split on the Cascade Crest, then which are they, or do rosies go further over the Cascade Crest?
Honestly, I think there's some crossover in some areas. It all depends on where you're at and the terrain. As a matter of fact, I got a trail cam photo of a blacktail in what I would consider traditionally mule deer country.
Oh, yeah.
So, there is that overlap.
Uh-huh.
So then you go outside of those 3 standard species to cross subspecies.
Yep.
So.
Well, and that's the cool thing about, to talk about blacktail, which, we just finished up the first archery season and going into the rifle season. There are some migratory blacktail who live way up high. And, as far as I know, maybe you have better knowledge than me. The only reason they really migrate is because of the snow. Do I have that right?
Yeah, the snow traditionally will push them down. And when I do hunt that high Cascade area in the late season, the areas that I do hunt depends on the snow level.
Yeah.
They have to move for the food source.
Yeah.
And, if you got 3 foot of snow, you're going to have anybody or any animal is going to have a tough time.
Yeah, but part of the thing, that's what makes it exciting to hunt those areas, because you never know when a buck's going to come through who hasn't been there since last year and he lives miles and miles away, right?
Yeah.
Compared to out on the coast, it happens. They move around and they check does, different groups of does, but more likely, you're shooting local bucks.
Yeah.
On the coast, they don't really migrate, or in the valley even.
True.
Which the thing is, that's more of a mule deer habit, is they migrate huge distances. Especially get the further east you go, you hear of different states like, name a state with a big Wyoming or
Wyoming,
any place
Colorado.
Really. They migrate like huge distances. And so I wonder if that makes the opportunity for bench legs go up, because you have migratory blacktail, which is kind of a unique habit for those blacktail. And then you have migratory mule deer, and they could just travel long distances. So
definitely, I agree with that statement.
For you getting the one in mule deer country, what time of year was that?
Actually, that was a little bit earlier this year.
Oh, really?
Where me and my brother-in-law run some cameras. We get a lot of migratory muleys, and we also have local mule deer that hang out and pretty much stay there all year. But when the snow level hits, those higher up bucks tend to move down into that lower area.
Sure.
Just because of the food source, and you know, obviously, then the rut's on for the mule deer.
So in that case, though, it wasn't the snow that pushed that buck you saw on camera?
No, for whatever reason, we got that one on camera early. Maybe it just got pushed down in there during the snow.
Yeah.
And they tend to hang and stay and not migrate back for whatever reason.
Oh, really?
It's hard to say.
So there are bucks that get pushed out and then just never go back?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got a lot of what I call local bucks on camera, and we see them at the same time every year.
Yeah.
You know, over and over and over, and they don't migrate for whatever reason. They just stay local.
Yeah.
But then when the snow hits in that late season, November time, and or the mule deer rut, we start to pick up a lot of other bucks that normally we don't get on camera because they do get pushed down from the high country.
That's very interesting to think about because, you know, there's bucks like big mature blacktails on the coast side that will never leave the mountain.
Yeah.
You know, or even the part of the mountain they're on. Like they have their little home tight area that, you know, and hunters rarely ever see them because they have such a small home range.
Yeah, and all my background and just doing research on some of the blacktail and over the years, and what I've found and what I've read is a lot of your valley bucks or coastal bucks, you know, they have like a whole range of them within a mile that they live their whole life.
Yeah. I've heard that particularly with does too, like that it's very common for a doe to a square mile.
Yeah.
That's her whole life. Yeah. So,
crazy.
And that's getting me thinking because I've done a lot of still hunting for blacktails on the coast side, but really like you go to Southern Oregon and the Cascades, that's sort of like the still hunting hotspots, you know, where most people are still hunting. And just for the listener, when I refer to still hunting, that is excruciatingly slowly moving through the woods to walk up on a deer. It's a popular archery tactic, but a lot of us rifle guys still do it too.
Yeah.
Just, you know, got to do something in the afternoon. And I've had it pay off rarely. But, you know, that like there's guys that's the only way they hunt. And most of the guys I hear about that's the only way they hunt, they're Cascade hunters. And so kind of learning that the Cascade bucks potentially have a bigger range, it would make sense why that'd be more effective because for the coast side, you can walk right past a buck or go through an area that a buck lives that's really small. And, you know, he's just living in his little hidey hole. But on the Cascade side, if the bucks are moving more and migrating more, you just every day is a new opportunity to see a different buck that maybe wasn't there the day before. And there's a part of that on the coast side with the rut, you know, because the rut makes bucks move and they look for different does, but like their core home area, especially in the beginning of October or even end of September when they've shed the velvet and they get hard-horned, they like tend to go nocturnal and they tend to hunker down, you know? And so I'm starting to connect some dots here of like why still hunting might be bigger in certain parts of the state compared to up here in the northwest coast, you know?
Yeah.
A little different.
It can be difficult to hunt that coast range still hunting style because just the amount of brush and, you know, and you're hunting an animal in its home range. I mean, they definitely have the advantage and, you know, that's why they're called the Northwest Ghost.
Yep. That's right. Awesome. Well, that's good enough for the Outdoors Rewind.
Okay.
Some blacktail tips there for all of us, but I do love blacktail. They're my bread and butter. If you do have a specific topic or question you want us to ask or anything you want us to cover on the podcast, we have a link it's going to be in the episode description or in our social media bios where you can actually submit feedback. Maybe we said something that's just totally stupid and wrong and you want us to correct it. Happy to hear that. Or maybe you just have some questions or future topic ideas, you know, send those in. We'd really love to hear from you guys. Just would also help us to feel inspired to keep going, knowing that, people are engaging. You know, we are getting a lot more listeners, which is exciting. But I'd like to start seeing some more feedback from people. So make sure you do that. And once again, I'm going to say again, come hunt with us at our duck hunt in December. That's going to be a fun time, exciting. Whether you're new to duck hunting or you've been doing it a long time, we'd love to see you there. All right, here's our look at the news. Ready?
Yeah.
2 young elk hunters in their mid-20s were found dead in Colorado. And after an autopsy, or what do they call that when they find the cause of death, they discovered that they were killed by a lightning strike, both of them. That was kind of shocking news, a freak accident, pretty crazy. But then, I think it was about a week later, or maybe even less, 2 duck hunters and their dogs were killed by a lightning strike in Florida while they were duck hunting. And so that's, I mean, a pretty big moment to happen for the hunting community. And in 1 year, 2025, like, people die from lightning strikes. It's just a thing that happens. But for 4 hunters to die within a 2-week period, that's not as common, you know?
Definitely. When that did finally come out, that was, I guess you could say, unexpected.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I mean, your thought process, and it's like, how did something like this happen in the hunting industry?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, things do happen, and we just don't know when, where, or how.
Yep.
I can't explain it.
I know, and like, I think most of us, when the news first broke, we were thinking like, oh, it had to have been exposure, had to have been injury, maybe a tree fell on them. You know, like, we had all these theories of, I don't think I heard anyone say lightning.
Yeah, no,
you know?
That was my first thought process when I first seen that come out.
Yeah.
As far as them being lost and they're going to start search parties, and my first go-to was exposure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which, you know, is more common than getting struck by lightning.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I wrote down some statistics about lightning strikes just because this kind of made me wonder, you know, what risk are we running out there? And I'll just read a few. This is interesting. Men are 4 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. And, you know, kind of a mystery, but, you know, for the most part, it's because men are more heavily involved in outdoor work and outdoor recreation. Okay. It's just the fact of the matter. So I'd like to see the statistic for how much more likely are men to be involved in fishing, you know, than women. And it might be consistent there, but yeah, men are 4 times more likely to be struck by lightning. The United States, across the nation, the average is 43 lightning fatalities per year.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, I was amazed by that. I was thinking, oh, what, a couple?
A couple, yeah.
43 average. So, you know, there's some years with more, some years with less, but that's high to me.
Yeah, and what was the percentage of men? I mean,
4 times more likely.
So that's out of 43. Yeah, yeah.
Something like that, if my math works there. The thing that was interesting to me is I found this map that showed where you are most likely to be struck by lightning. And it actually, there's some states that are disproportionately high. So Colorado's in the top 3 where these 2 elk hunters died. Florida is the number 1, and that's where the 2 duck hunters died.
Yeah, no, I can see that in Florida.
And then, because it's flat, right? Yeah. And then Texas is number 2. So it goes Florida, Texas, Colorado. Those are the top 3 states. And when I looked at the map, you kind of see hurricane areas that Colorado was the fluke. And the reason there is the mountains, high elevation, but all those low-lying states on the East Coast and in the Gulf had really high rates, and there's hurricanes there, right? All the time. On the Pacific side, California was higher, but California is a big state.
Yeah.
Oregon and Washington are really low. Sometimes Oregon can go decades without a lightning death. So to think of 43 lightning fatalities per year, but sometimes Oregon goes decades without a lightning death that's reported. I mean, that just shows how much the tropical storms have to be something to do with that, right?
Yeah, and I find that, you know, somewhat interesting because you look at the amount of lightning strike fires that we do have in some of these states like Oregon.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, it just goes to show that the possibility is there. There are a lot of lightning strikes.
Yeah.
But I think it all comes down to terrain, the flatness and the trees.
We'll get into some of the tips to be safe, but one of them is to be as low as possible. And when you're in a flat field, it's not possible, you know? So a majority of lightning deaths, 64%, happen during like non-work outdoor activities. So recreational outdoor activities. Can you guess the number one group?
I'm just going to throw it out there because if you're in a flat field and you're holding a 12 gauge lightning rod,
yeah,
I'm going to say duck hunting.
Duck hunting?
Yeah.
So actually, hunting's not even in the top 5.
Really?
Yep. Fishing is the number one. Because I guess it's the same thing like what you're saying, though. You're standing there holding a lightning rod and your fishing pole, or you're on a boat in the middle of the water. But fishing is the number one activity to get struck by lightning.
Wow.
And you know, like we've been saying, it makes a lot of sense because you're the tall thing out on the top of the water.
Open water, yeah.
Yep. Second to that is camping. So maybe because you're by the trees, or I don't know why.
Yeah, possibly.
Boating makes a lot of sense. You're out on the water once again. Soccer was number 4. So I guess a lot of people get struck by lightning playing soccer, or this is actually lightning deaths. So not just getting struck, but actually dying.
That's interesting.
And then finally, we could have guessed this one, golf.
Okay.
Golf makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But just so we know, all of these statistics are from the NOAA. So they're a very reputable source there. So I wanted to talk about some lightning tips that they give to not get struck by lightning. They said that if you hear thunder, you're within striking distance of lightning, even if the sky is clear where you're standing. The lightning can strike that far. So that if you can hear thunder, you can get struck, is what they say. And what you want to do is get as low as possible and stay away from tall things. So trees or anything that you try to stand next to a tree because it's raining or whatever, you know, if that tree gets struck by lightning, you're struck too. The other thing they tell you to do is get off the mountain, because if you're on the mountain and a thunderstorm comes in, you're at risk of getting shocked versus if you were to huff it down the mountain and get to lower ground and stand in a group of trees that aren't extremely tall. They said that's kind of it's not safe, but it's the safest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the other tip they gave was that lightning strikes the highest thing. So your number one goal is to not be the highest thing, you know, whether on water or on land, or to be standing by the highest thing.
Yeah, which is interesting to me, you know, to go back to the 2 Colorado hunters. It would be nice to, just for personal reason, just to see where they were located.
Yeah.
And what was it that made them the target? You know, were they in an open area?
Yeah.
That area there, and there's a lot of trees, a lot of mountains.
Yep.
A lot of things that are definitely a lot higher in elevation than I would have to say they were. So it would be interesting to dive into that sometime.
Yeah, and they would have had, I mean, it's not like they both would have got struck separately, right? They would have had to been standing close enough together to both get hit. Have you ever been out hunting and encountered a storm, and what did you do?
You know, honestly, I'd never really given it much thought until this year, and those type of things have happened.
Yeah.
You know, I hear thunder or I see thunderheads. My first reaction, I'm going to go out and watch a show, you know?
Yeah, I mean, me too. I feel the same way. Yeah.
Just never really given it much thought of being struck by lightning. You know, it's almost like winning the lottery, I guess.
Yeah, you think it's unheard of, but the odds are higher. So only 1 in 10 people who get struck actually die. So 10 people get struck, 1 of them dies. Some of them are, you know, injured, but only 1 of them dies. So there's actually a lot more people getting struck by lightning per year than we really think about.
Yeah, that would be interesting to have that number along with the amount.
that are killed.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's because I've been on camping trips and whatever, and thunder rolls in. I get excited. I'm like, this is so cool, the thunder. But now I'm thinking about it like, oh, well, actually, I was probably at risk standing by a lake or under some big trees and whatnot.
And I'll tell you, we go to Key West every year, and I do a bunch of fishing there. And we've been out on open water and seen thunderstorms coming, and it's not like we run for cover, but, we go around it to avoid it, but still we're close enough that that's a definite possibility because you can hear it.
Yep. If you can hear it, you can get struck, even if the sky's clear. That was a thing that I learned I did not know.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So I guess let's all be safe. Hunting has risks. It's unavoidable. Fishing, camping, being outside, leaving your house, driving down the street, anything.
Yeah,
there's just risk is a part of life, and so you got to kind of weigh what's the risk worth. And you and me both probably agree that hunting is worth the risk.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just like is a part of who I am and how I live, and I'm not going to stop hunting. But it's good to be in the know of, if there's lightning, get out of the clear cut, And
honestly, with this incident that did happen, for me, I don't think I'm going to change anything that I've ever done or not done before. I'm just going to do what I've always done. And like you said, that's part of life.
You know how they say lightning doesn't strike twice? It's actually not true.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So anyway, actually, I think I saw a video of a guy got struck by lightning twice in a row and lived.
I think I might have seen the same video.
That just flashed into my mind as we said that. But anyway, let's get into our conversation with Carl Lewallen. Once again, thank you for making it out here to Salem, all the way from an hour and a half away.
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
I appreciate it. Really, I really do.
I appreciate you guys having me. I mean, this is fun.
It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we end up being friends afterward too. So.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Well, we always start off with this question. I'd really love to hear it. I give you a little bit of time to think about it.
Okay.
Share your favorite hunting or fishing story or outdoor experience.
Do you know at my age, you have a lot of those.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
I have one particular one, and I actually mentioned this in the blog that I just did. I happened to be archery hunting. I can't remember what year it was. I'd have to go back and take a look at exact dates, but I got up late, couldn't find my keys. Supposed to meet a buddy, and at that point it was like null and void to me, and it was last day of archery for elk. I mean, we're talking last day, Sunday, very last day.
Wow.
And so I call him and I'm like, man, this just is not happening for me today, and I don't want to do it. And though what he said to me at that moment is something that I've lived by when I'm out there hunting, and I always hold true, that just out of the blue, he says, you cannot kill anything sitting on the couch. And so I'm like,
oh man,
okay.
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
That got
you,
huh?
Yeah, it did. So he ended up coming and picking me up, and we went into the high Cascades, into some area that we've hunted for years and years and years.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's already noon by then, and we just figured we would just try to drive around, and if we got lucky.
And this is archery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To just kind of hit some key areas that we know some of the elk typically like to hang out in.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we ended up crossing one unit, and I spotted some elk in the bottom of it moving through.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm like, all right, well, let's give this a shot. So we made a couple of calls, and sure enough, the bull answered us. And I didn't think we would get any kind of answer that late in the season.
I got to know, when you hear a bugle like that, you still get an adrenaline rush, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every single time,
it doesn't go away.
No, never.
But,
so we made a move on them. And like I said, we knew the area really well. So we knew where there was an old cat road or, an old logging road that had no use anymore. So it had been blocked off. So we went ahead and got on that and got in fairly close to where they were at and made some more calls. And the herd bull would definitely answer us, but he was not going to come to us. He had his cows all rounded up.
Oh, okay.
So we're trying to work this guy, and he'd keep calling back. And
But he wasn't taking him away?
No.
Okay.
He was kind of held up in the area he was in.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe we were close enough to him that he felt maybe threatened enough that he was just going to hold tight and just call back.
Yeah.
But out of nowhere, the satellite bull comes in silent and steps out on me at less than 10 yards. And I'm like,
Like no detection until that moment.
Exactly. I had no idea, and I wasn't even ready for it.
They can be like as quiet as a cat. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. The Northwest Coast, man.
Yeah, man.
And he bolts. I don't think he realized what we were.
Oh, sure.
The wind was in our favor, so he couldn't smell us.
Did you cow call or something to try to?
Yeah, so at that moment, I looked back at my buddy Ron and motioned for him to call again, and he did a little cow call.
Okay.
And sure enough, he stopped, and he came right back out, but in a different position, and I was already at full draw. I was ready this time.
Yeah.
And I shot this thing broadside at 10 yards.
Oh, man. He's looking for your buddy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And had no idea what I was even there or what even hit him, and he didn't.
So were you in an opening, or were you just kind of in timber?
Kind of semi-opening, but there were some small trees, and I happened to be standing behind one of those trees, kind of used it as cover a little bit. And my buddy, he was on his hands and knees, doing the calling over and behind me, kind of to my right, if I remember correctly.
Hidden pretty well. He was. Yeah.
So when that bull stepped out again, he was looking for that cow and had no idea that I was even there. And things happen quick. It's crazy how quick things happen.
Oh yeah. That's something that I always have to remind myself when I'm feeling worn out in the middle of a day or toward, before the evening hunt. And I'm just kind of like, it's not really good out here. It only takes 1 minute, and all of a sudden you're standing with an elk or a deer or whatever it might be.
Yeah, some of the most unexpected things and times and moments happen out there, and you got to be prepared at any given time,
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So was that a good pack out on that bull?
It was actually a fairly short one and fairly easy. I actually worked the bull as far as like processing, cutting up, and my buddy Ron, as I get a quarter cut, he'd throw it on his pack and take it to the truck. By the time he got back, I had another one cut off, ready to roll.
You're like, here you go.
So it made it really easy.
Yeah, that's good.
And we ended up getting soaked. It ended up raining on us.
Okay.
But
like it wasn't raining when you shot it, but then
no, it wasn't. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's one of my most memorable with one of my buddies, and and I guess I always go back to that. You can't kill anything sitting on the couch.
Nope. So. That's wonderful advice.
Yeah. Got to put the time in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for sharing that. Just to kind of get into your background a little bit, I mentioned at the top of the show, but you grew up hunting, big part of your life, part of your family.
Yeah.
But also sports. So at what point did sports really become a passion for you, and to this day, is that still a passion for you?
Yeah, I started doing, sports in grade school or middle school whenever things were available to do. I know one of the schools I went to out in Marcola, we had what they called track and field day.
Okay.
And that was like a big deal, and I think they still do it today.
Oh, yeah.
The whole sports thing for me has always been a part of my life, I guess.
Yeah.
From being directly involved playing the sport and doing the sport all the way to coaching the sport.
Yeah.
As I got older and graduated out of high school and everything, I had started coaching.
Yeah.
And still really involved somehow with sports. We did some alumni football games, full contact.
Sure.
Once I got older.
Uh-huh.
I'm still kind of involved with some of the wrestling with some of the schools. They do what they call an old man tournament takedown every year to raise money for the wrestling program.
Oh, yeah.
And
so you get to wrestle in that?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I still go do that.
You wrestling in the young guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's no age differentiation here. It's anywhere from 18 on up.
Wow.
And usually I'm one or two of the oldest guys there.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. That's cool. So are you still whipping those young guys' butts?
I'll say I hold my own.
You hold your own? Okay. Yeah.
I do all right. And, it's not always about youth or strength. It's about knowledge strategy when it comes to that sport.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I mean, definitely the physical ability too.
Yeah.
And I try to stay fit as possible by doing all the sports that I do.
Yeah.
Now that I don't have those programs in high school.
Uh-huh.
So like the running, gotten involved in that ultra running community and done a couple of those here or there and different things. And
yeah.
I run a couple of times a week, spend several days at the gym during the week. So
yeah,
and I still, even at the gym and even when I'm out there running, I have some younger people that tend to hang out because I don't know, I guess I have that coaching aspect and I'm always trying to help somebody else out.
Uh-huh.
And so it's become a kind of a good thing too for me because then I'm able to pass on that coaching type experience. Like I get to
satisfy that part of you.
Yeah, I got a young lady in the gym. She's about the same age as my daughter. And the first time I met her, just a little quick short story. She was doing a pull-up. And so I went over and I said, hey, good job. There's a lot of guys that can't even do one pull-up, and here you are doing one.
Yeah.
And now working with her a little bit, and she's gotten to a point now she can do 12 straight legit pull-ups.
Wow, nice.
And so we're working on 15 now.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, that might not sound like a lot to some people, but I mean, to go from, none or one, and then also like a lot of women just can't do pull-ups. It's something about the way that their bodies are made. Their upper bodies are just not the same as a guy. Their frame is completely different, and so that's impressive.
Yeah,
12 pull-ups.
And that equates back into like the whole hunting thing with, let's just say archery for specifics.
Sure.
A lot of guys that have never archery hunted, you don't just pick up a bow and pull it back and shoot it.
Yeah.
Those things, there's some poundage there.
Yeah.
And it takes specific muscles, and if you are not used to doing that, it's something you got to work and eventually get to that point.
I remember the very first time I drew back a bow, and it's like muscles that have never been activated before. You're like, oh, what's that? 60 pounds? That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not happening today.
Oh yeah. It's definitely even if you go a long time without shooting, which you never should ever if you're an archery hunter. But if that does happen, you lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
You lose it.
And that equates back to muscle memory too.
Yeah.
If it's something that you do every single day or put some effort into it, you're going to have that muscle memory, and it's just going to become more natural and easy. And that's the same thing like with wrestling, with those younger guys, they don't have that experience or that muscle memory. And I had been at it long enough that I have an action or reaction to something going on. I don't have to think about it. It just happens.
Yep.
So muscle memory.
Absolutely. No, and that stands very true for my archery shooting, because I have a little motto, try to shoot a quiver a day.
Okay.
And I just have like a 20-yard thing that I'm able to shoot every day.
Hey, perfect.
And so it's not helping with my it's not really that it's helping the shooting and the accuracy. It is in some ways, but really it's helping my form and my strength and the muscle memory, so that as soon as I'm able to get my anchor, right away, really fast, and Because that's part of the muscle memory there is where do you put the string?
Yeah.
Where does your finger go on your release and touching your ear? You know, everyone has their anchor point. And, you know, so I actually, Boaz is a guy we had on the podcast this summer, and he has a pretty big mustache.
Okay.
And part of his setting his anchor point is he actually, because the mustache kind of gets in the string when he puts his finger on his release trigger, because he doesn't shoot a thumb release, he shoots a wrist release.
Yeah.
He rakes his mustache behind the string as the same movement. So like his finger, you know, you pull back your knuckle, your thumb and your pointer finger knuckles pinching it at the release, and then your finger has to make the movement to get onto the actual trigger. And in that sweep of a movement, he sweeps his mustache off the string and then lands his finger on the trigger. It's pretty funny. So Boaz listens to the show, so he'll appreciate that shout out.
Yeah,
Financially Outdoors. There you go. That's him.
Funny.
So, yeah. But anyway, so then as you were developing in your athleticism mindset, coaching mindset, all along, you were in the outdoors hunting. A lot of people end up choosing between one or the other during certain times of years. Was that a struggle for you?
Yeah, definitely, especially coaching high school sports,
Yeah.
you know, with football season being middle of September, you know, it was definitely a struggle, but I worked it, I made it happen, and I enjoyed both. I loved coaching. You know, I loved all the kids that I've coached over the years, and now to see some of those guys out there today in the outdoors, or I just run into them somewhere, and it's like, hey, coach, you know, I mean, there's some...
Because you've been in the same community for a long time, haven't you?
Yes and no. I grew up and coached and went to school in Marcola.
Okay.
And now I live in a different community.
Yeah.
But I do see those kids from time to time in different areas.
Sure.
There's a few of them that even live in the same community I do now. And then with all the family members that I do have, I visit Marcola quite a bit and run into them out there. As a matter of fact, I ran into one kid that I coached for years, and he was telling me his hunting story and success this year, and you know, it was amazing. I just loved it.
Yeah, that's so. What did he attribute some of that to you at all? Was it a thank you, or was it?
I don't know if I would say that, because a lot of those families in some of those areas, smaller towns like that, have always been hunting in some way. But you get that core community and the same attitude across the board as far as like the outdoor industry. So you want to share that with other people that you know. Yeah.
What aspects of sports and athletics crosses over into hunting? Where's the handshake there?
Everything.
Okay. Wow.
Dedication.
Okay. Yeah.
Dedication to your sport, regardless of what it is. Dedication to your hunting, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah.
Physical ability. Nutrition. I mean, everything could transfer over from either direction.
Yeah. What about teamwork? Do you see that?
Definitely, especially if you are not a solo hunter.
Oh, sure.
Or you have friends, or you take other people out. You want to see them successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely teamwork comes into play.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was just like my last weekend helping a buddy out trying to fill an elk tag. You know, teamwork came into play. You know.
Yeah.
We had to work together to get him in that opportunity.
And he had the opportunity.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That's good.
But sometimes those opportunities don't always pay off. You know, and the same with sports. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some.
Yeah. Right. You're making me think too, what I've seen, because I'm not a sports kid. I didn't grow up doing sports.
Okay.
I was a 4-H kid. So, you know, we're a little weird, but there's some dedication in there, but it's just, it's totally different. It's not physical, you know, I'll just flat out, still, you know,
dedication is dedication regardless of what it is. And, you know, if you can dedicate yourself to what you are doing or focusing on at that moment
yeah,
is going to make all the difference in the world.
You know, one of the things I've seen in sports kids that transcends every area of their life is discipline. And I obviously that seems like natural, but I think it's amplified by the culture of sports intentionally due to the fact that I don't know if this is a standard, but at my high school, if you had bad grades, you weren't allowed to participate in sports.
Yeah.
And so you had these kids who spent all this time in sports, but also academically had to give it an effort and succeed and try to learn. And so it created this type of discipline where you're like, your team counts on you, you're working hard, you're intentional with what you're doing. And I've seen that carry over from sports kids into every avenue of their life, whether it's continuing education after high school or it's even their involvement at church. You know, I run the young adult ministry at my church, and I see that the sports kids are just way more on it and disciplined and around. Hunting, there's the willing to, what we say, embrace the suck.
Yeah.
On those hard days when it's raining super hard or cold or wet, and they just have the like goal in mind. Even if the goal is just, I'm going to outlast this storm, you know? Yeah. And so I wonder if you could speak into that a little bit of how the discipline of sports and hunting has kind of worked in your life and how you live out discipline now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, even when I was coaching and even when I was playing sports in high school, there was a GPA standard that you had to meet.
Yeah.
I think that's just across the board. And definitely dedication and discipline, I think, go hand in hand in just about everything. And discipline, I do believe, is something that doesn't come easy for all.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that you kind of learn, but at the same time, it's hard to explain. You have to have that mental discipline to be able to show up every day and do what is required of you from yourself to make that goal.
Yeah.
And sometimes even with discipline and dedication, you have a goal in mind and you don't reach that goal that day. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you put out that 100% effort and discipline and show up and do what you need to every day.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely where, you know, and I hate to say it, some have it and some don't.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
Just frankly true.
Yeah.
I really do. Whether it's nature or nurture, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Some people just don't have it. Yeah. You got to push through to see the reward, to see the success. You got to push through some really crappy times. And that's true in hunting and life, and sounds like sports and, you know, everything.
Yeah. I mean, and all honestly too, you know, with the sports and schools, I believe that there is a great connection there, and there should always be sports available because it does teach you a lot of those things like dedication and discipline, teamwork, responsibility, and that equates into every part of life, including hunting and outdoors. Yeah,
I see that big time. Definitely. And that's coming from a non-sports guy. Yeah.
But you were involved, you know, you had 4-H and, you know, you had dedication there, discipline. You had to show up. You know, you had to do things that you had to do that you didn't like to do to be successul.
Hey, you're talking to the 2010 Oregon State Grand Champion poultry showman right here.
Wait.
Nice. Hey, that was 15 years ago now. Wow. That's funny.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's transition into talking about Rec Pac.
Okay.
So I want to give a background of who I am, because my goal with this part of the show is that someone who's like me with no knowledge, background whatsoever of nutrition or exercise habits or anything like that could benefit from it, but also someone who knows their stuff and understands what's needed for your body out there can also benefit, you know, and you could speak to those people too about Rec Pac and how it's a good nutrition for that, but even just in general, that way everyone is on the same page. What does your body need? So just to give you my background, like I said, no sports. I didn't understand nutrition whatsoever. My first backpacking foods were always those pasta packets that you can get. You know, you're supposed to add water to it and boil them. It's like a side dish that you make for your family or whatever, you know, those like dollar noodle packets. Lots of sodium in those things.
Yeah.
And I would eat one of those and some canned chicken, or I would just get like a can of beans or something. And like that was my backpacking food. That was what I ate. And then when I had a little bit more money, I would start getting Backpacker's Pantry or what's the freeze dried, you know, whatever. And though I kind of transitioned to that, but you know, I haven't really settled on a good wilderness meal. And then it was very recently through starting to hunt with Gage, who's big sports background, college athlete, you know, he's sports as sports can be.
Yeah.
And so he told me about electrolytes. And all of a sudden I had this secret weapon where I'd be, every time I hunted, I was sleeping at least once a trip. And then I started drinking electrolytes. After I'd sweat climbing up the mountain, drink it, I stopped needing to nap. And that's just from electrolytes. And so that's kind of opened my eyes to like, oh, maybe there's other ways that like my performance is greatly lacking because of nutrition that I'm not even aware about. And so I'm excited to to learn about that. So just to start that part of give a taste of what the tip section is going to look like, but just to talk about Rec Pac specifically, what is Rec Pac?
So Rec Pac is an all-in-one meal replacement. It's going to give you everything you need to replace a complete meal. You get 700 calories, 43 grams of protein, along with 25% of your daily vitamin and mineral intake. So it is a complete nutritional meal to get you through the day. And it's not going to take over everything in your backpack. It's meant to replace some things in your backpack. The other plus to it is you do not have to heat the water up. You just add water directly to the container.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Shake it, drink it, and you don't have to take the time to sit down and heat your water.
So it's like more than a protein shake?
Yes, definitely more than just a protein shake.
But it is like you're drinking a smoothie?
Yeah, pretty much. Depending on how much water you put in, we suggest 12 ounces.
Okay.
So you could do more or less depending on how thick you want it.
Sure.
And by all means, I've done the testing on it. And if you wanted to heat the water, you definitely can.
Makes it like a hot.
Yeah, I have like, we have 3 flavors right now. We have coffee, vanilla chai, and chocolate. And the coffee one has 150 milligrams of caffeine, which is equivalent to like a cup and a half. And so I'll take the coffee one in the late season, November.
Okay.
When I do know those days I'm going to go set in my tree stand.
Oh, yeah.
And I will mix that up with hot water before I leave the house.
So if you were to mix it thinner, like add more than 12 ounces, can you almost make yourself feel like you're drinking a coffee from some coffee shop or something?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just it's going to be a little bit thicker, obviously, because of the product. But I've also gone as far as taking the chocolate and coffee flavored one and mixing them together and making me like a mocha.
Yeah.
And
And what does it have for? Does it satisfy any electrolyte needs? I see some salt in the ingredients.
Yeah, we do use sea salt, so that satisfies some of the electrolyte needs, along with the 12 ounces of water you put in it.
Okay.
So it's a combination of those two.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And another thing that's cool is I can pronounce all the ingredients.
Yeah, we tried to use the cleanest, wholest ingredients that we could and still have a good shelf life on it and get everything performance-wise we wanted out of the product.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's different for everybody because our body makeups are all different. And, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, this product may work for you. It may not. My taste buds are different. You may not like the flavor. You may like a specific flavor.
Yeah. And where was Rec Pac started, and where are they made?
So our founder, Deed, he was in the military, and when he was out in the field, which they did a lot of field work away from base, kind of came up with the idea out there, got tired of like the MREs and quick snack bars or candy, just things to get them by while they were out there being active. And he wanted something more nutritional and something better for you other than just the standard, which nowadays you could go anywhere with that. But he came up with the idea, and when he got home from deployment, started really diving in and came up with where we're at now with Rec Pac. He obviously had a new NFL nutritionist work with him on the formula.
Okay.
To be able to come up with something that was lightweight, have everything we needed for calories, carbs, fats, proteins, essential vitamins, and minerals.
So this is something where, are you wanting to have one a day to like replace lunch, or are you able to have, like on a backpacking trip, are you able to have multiple of them a day for multiple days in a row, or like where does it fit in?
I think it's kind of different for everyone. I've had a couple of them throughout the day. More often than not, I always have one in the bottom of my pack because at only 5.9 ounces, that's not a lot of weight.
No, not at all.
And so I always keep one in there for emergencies, and then I always keep one in there for midday if I know I'm not going to make it back to my base camp, or even if I got stuck out there overnight, or if I'm out there getting ready to pack an animal out and I know it's going to be a long night, I have those available.
Gives you that boost.
Exactly.
Is there any caffeine in them or something? Or
just the coffee one has caffeine.
Okay.
The other two do not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
But there's enough carbs in there that will give you that boost, and there's enough fats and proteins to help offset those carbs, so you don't get a carb high and you don't get a carb crash. It's more of a kind of a endurance, long distance release.
It doesn't look super high in sugar. I'm not seeing looking for sugar on here, because that's one thing. Like my current day pack involves usually like a meat stick, Cliff Bar, and an electrolyte thing. That's kind of like, that's all that I do for a full day hunt, and then I plan on coming home in the evening and eating. So this though would probably do me a lot better than just those little snacks.
It could definitely replace everything in there that you just mentioned, and then some.
And the reason I bring that up is because like the Cliff Bars are pretty high in sugar. And I always have a really big crash at some point.
Okay.
Whether it's as soon as I get to the truck or I'm walking to the truck at the end of the night, like I crash pretty hard before I have dinner. And I don't know what's your perspective with something like this?
Well, so with something like Rec Pac, because you're going to get that meal kind of distributed throughout the day, more like a time release. It's not going to hit you in the face up front and get a sugar high, and it's not going to give you that crash feeling a few hours later. And the other plus with our product being in its own container like that, if you don't want to do the whole thing all at once, you mix it up, pull the cap, have a little bit, put the cap back on, throw it back in your backpack, have a little bit later on. You can spread it out throughout the day.
It'll be fine for the day.
Oh yeah, easy. And the colder the temperature, the longer it'll last after you've mixed it.
What's your favorite? You said that you've had it hot, but do you like it to be as cold as possible or lukewarm or what?
It's a toss up. I like the hot one in the morning. In November when I am headed to that stand, and and that's another plus to it. I'm actually able to have that thing in my stand without any residue odor, and I'm having something warm.
Or needing to boil water or bring a thermos of soup or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Has it ever caused any stomach issues
for me? No. But there are those few that,
sure.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're lactose intolerant, is this not the product for you?
We do have a protein in there from dairy. So, but it's hard to say because, then once again, we get into that, your body makeup is different than mine. I mean, what is your lactose intolerance?
Yeah.
Is it high? Is it low? Is it in the middle of the road?
Or is it a specific different protein?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you just got to kind of try it, right?
Yeah, you got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
And that's with any product out there.
Yep. And so you were using Rec Pac before you got involved with the company, right?
So actually, no, I hadn't even heard of Rec Pac, and this is just a little recap on it. Joy, who's been involved with the company since the beginning, pretty much.
Okay.
She reached out to me and wanted to know if I'd be interested in trying it and helping out get into the hunting industry. And I told her, I said, honestly, definitely, if you want to send it to me, I'll try it. And if it's something that I will personally use, then I'll back you and I'll get involved. And, I'm nobody special. I'm just Carl, that lives life and likes to go hunting and, be in the outdoors. And I was surprised that they even reached out to me.
Yeah.
And
do you think that's because of what you do with sports too? And they saw that the endurance outdoor stuff and the hunting kind of thing, or
definitely it had to do with some of my social media stuff for sure. No doubt about that. And showing, the things that I do on a daily basis or weekly basis, being in the outdoors and or running or just being fit, and definitely a big part of it. And I'll be honest with you, they reached out to me. I happened to be out at Pisgah running.
Oh, okay.
And I ran into Cam out there that day, Cam Haynes. And, we have a background. We went to the same school. We played sports together. We hunted together when we were younger.
Yeah.
And he was giving away 3 bows that day.
Oh, wow.
And he was there by himself, so I filmed it for him.
Oh, okay.
And he mentioned me in the post. And then they kind of reached out and said, hey, well, we've seen this and,
yeah,
you want to check us out, see what you think. And so, I definitely got involved in using the product myself.
Yep.
And it works for me. And so then it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's amazing what social media or podcasts will do for you nowadays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then at some point you were offered to purchase part of the company.
I have a small percentage for all the work that I do. I do I wouldn't say I do all the shows, but I do a majority of the shows. And then Joy and Deed both get involved from time to time on some of those, but I've done a lot of them solo. And, they just wanted to show appreciation and give something back to me for all the work that I put in. Yeah. And promoting and backing Rec Pac, the company, and believing in where they're going with this for sure.
So on the like endurance running side, do liquid meals mesh with running? Is there any kind of issue with that?
I think they mesh honestly very well. At least it works for me very well.
Yeah.
Because before Rec Pac, it would be like what you said, like the granola type bars or something, some type of protein bar that is heavier, and you don't want to just sit down and take a few minutes and eat a heavy meal, especially when you're running, because that for me just does not work.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And when you know that you're out there for 5 or 6 hours and you're going to do 32 miles today, you definitely don't want a heavy meal on you. I don't know. Maybe some people are okay with it. You look at some of these ultra runners and some of the things that they are eating, but you get your body used to those things. And and I've used Rec Pac on multiple runs. As a matter of fact, you talked about my shirt, Spike Camp I did last year, and that was out at Mount Pisgah. And that was an all-day thing from 5 to 5, as many summits as you could do.
Yeah.
And so I had Rec Pacs mixed up for people to try, and I had my own mixed up. And every couple of summits, at least every hour or hour and a half, I would stop, have a little bit, refuel.
Okay.
Get back at it, and not just dump the whole thing all at once, but have it throughout the day. Yeah, exactly.
Keep you going. So that's what I'm hearing from you is you see this value in more consistent nutrition other than like spikes of, sugar high or any other kind of just large amount of nutrition at once, but sort of spreading it out is kind of what I'm hearing for you. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, definitely. And with this product, you can consume the whole thing all at once.
Yeah.
And not have any issues. At least I haven't had any issues. And you're going to have that complete meal, or you can take that complete meal and spread it out through the day.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like for me, and maybe even the same for you, when you're out there with that backpack on and you're hunting, my mindset's on hunting. It's not on having
eating
food. And that's where that comes in play. Oh, I got this. It's easy. I take some of it now, put it back in my pack. I don't have to sit down. I don't have to heat the water up.
Sure.
I don't have to get out a package and raffle it around and make all that noise. And
Yeah, so I'll kind of rough the package. Like, it's barely plasticky, but it's not super bad like a candy bar wrapper,
Yeah, exactly.
or a chip bag. And it's a pretty thick material. It seems pretty conducive. So, but part of the reason I asked that is because it is kind of made for any harsh activity, longevity needed. It's not just like specifically made for this activity or that activity.
No, exactly. And honestly, I've used it in a lot of different areas on my daily routines. Everything from my workload to hunting to doing some of the sports that I do.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's to me, and it's not just because I have or involved with the company, it's a multifaceted product.
Yeah.
And I think one of the greater products that have come out in the last couple of years to cover a lot of different areas.
Great. Cool. I'm going to be excited to try it out, and I'll have to give my review once I do on the flavor, the edibility, and how I feel.
Okay.
But getting on with that, a lot of people, or how should I say this? We always try to provide some like tips for our listeners, some like take home knowledge and info. And so we're talking about Rec Pac, we're talking about nutrition. And, like I said, you're a guy who sports background, you have nutrition knowledge, more what the body needs. I don't know anything at all. So, what are the like different nutrients that our bodies need while hunting? We'll keep it in the hunting lens.
Okay.
Or fishing,
I mean, honestly, that's where you get that crossover from hunting and sports.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely you need the electrolytes.
Okay.
You need the carbs for high energy activities.
And what do the carbs do? Energy is what you associated them with?
Your carbs are going to give you, your immediate boost.
Okay.
Because typically in high energy, your body will utilize the carbs first because it's the most easy and convenient. So like your fat or your fat stores are going to be like a secondary.
Okay.
And your body's going to utilize those secondary after the carbs are gone.
Okay.
But they do take a little longer to process.
Got it.
You're not going to get that immediate energy boost like you would with a carb.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and like I had said earlier too, our body, everyone's body makeup is different.
Yeah.
So the way these things work or don't work for some people, that's okay. I mean, that is what it is.
Sure.
And just on another note, outside of that, as far as like minerals and everything else, and Rec Pac as a company, or maybe I could just use this and finish it up at the end, with developing this. This is a veteran-owned and developed company.
Yeah.
And so like even like on our website, direct with Rec Pac, we do a lifetime 20% discount for veterans, teachers,
okay,
first responders.
Wow.
So we want to give back to those communities.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So veterans, active duty,
active and non.
And then first responders and teachers. Those are the
teachers.
That's what you listed.
So
Okay.
you could be a firefighter, a police officer,
yeah,
a teacher just at the school.
Yeah, cool.
So,
awesome. Well, that's cool. So you did list. You said that it contains a lot of different vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the vitamins that you're gonna burn up while hunting that you want to replenish those?
I mean, definitely some of the vitamins that would help you out there that are in the product are zinc, magnesium, copper.
Okay.
You know, obviously the sea salt for the electrolytes.
Oh, sure.
Potassium, magnesium.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those things come in play when you're doing high endurance sports, or if you're out there putting the miles on and you're sweating and you're working.
Oh, okay.
You know, and let's say not even if you're just out there hunting around, let's say you get an animal down. Now the real hard work begins and the process begins. And it's nice to have something like this ready and available.
Yeah.
Because you know you're going to be there for hours processing, getting the animal out. You know, unless you happen to get really lucky and shoot it on the road while it was standing in the back of your truck. But
yeah. So those types of vitamins, it sounds like you're losing them through sweat compared to like the carbs. It's your body burning them in energy.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a little of both in both processes, as far as like sweating and burning the energy.
Okay.
Burning up those fats and proteins and carbs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you think about it as us as humans, we eat typically 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Some of us more or less.
Uh-huh.
You know, and just your daily activity, you burn those carbs, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. Your body utilizes every single one of those every day.
Yeah.
In just everyday life.
Uh-huh.
So then you add that extra activity and exertion in carrying, let's say, a 25 to 30 pound pack of gear with you, along with your rifle or your bow.
Uh-huh.
You're out there all day long, up and down the terrain.
Shivering.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's going to be another factor depending on the weather, because the colder the weather, the harder your body works to maintain temperature.
So you're just naturally...
The hotter the weather, the more your body works to maintain temperature.
Uh-huh.
You're going to definitely be burning up some of those calories and those minerals to actively do that.
So just give me the list. What are the nutrients that I need to replenish when I'm hunting? 'Cause you listed electrolytes, carbs.
Yeah, electrolytes,
and then
carbs,
I distracted you.
Fats, proteins.
Fats, proteins. Okay.
And if
so the carbs play a different role than the fats?
They do and they don't, because the carbs are the easy and the most quick and convenient thing for your body to burn.
Okay.
So it's going to do that first.
Okay.
And then once you are in a carb deficit, then it starts to attack the fats and the proteins.
So the fats,
use those for energy.
Okay, so you eat your Rec Pac.
Yep.
You're hit with carbs, and then you have the fats that are sort of the slow burn. And the protein, is that so much for your energy or for rebuilding your muscles afterward?
Keeping your muscles rebuilt so your body doesn't attack your muscles and use those for energy.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Hence, like, let's say with weightlifting or that type of thing, you want that muscle to grow, you're going to pack on the protein.
Okay. Okay.
And if you don't pack on the protein, then your body's going to attack that muscle and use it for energy.
So then you just end up being a skinny guy.
A rail.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Looked like you missed
maybe
leg
that's
day.
my problem. Yeah, I've never done any kind of protein supplements before, so that's a good tip there. I'm gonna be transparent and reveal my bad habits.
Okay.
When I hunt, I take with me sugary trail mix with lots of sugar candy in it.
Carbs.
I'll take straight candy bars, Cliff bars, the meat sticks I bring, which I always say, it's my protein and my salts. I make them myself, so at least they're not Slim Jims. But here's what I'm doing. I always skip breakfast. I kind of have like stomach issues if I eat too early.
Okay.
But so that's just unavoidable. I can't eat before 8 a.m., whatever. You're starting your hunting day. I'm waking up at like 4 or 5. But I hunt till I feel myself crashing. Then I eat a ton of sugar and I feel fine. Then I hunt for a couple more hours and then I crash again and then I eat more candy. And that's just kind of what I do.
Yeah.
What am I doing to myself and what is the better way?
So I think, the better way, and once again, our body makeups are different. I'm going to, really key on that. But then again, they're similar because what you're doing there is you're just supplying your body with straight carbs for the energy. And then you get that carb crash. And then you eat some more, you get that carb high and you got that energy and then you crash again.
Yeah.
So a product like this, and I'm sure there's other similar products out there, or just better eating habits when you are out there in the field, you're going to have more of an even carb high and release to where it's over time and not just hit you in the face all at once up front.
Okay.
So you're not going to get that major carb rush.
Yeah.
It's going to be more throughout the day, along with the fats and the proteins are going to help offset those carbs to try to give you more of a time release or an even kill throughout the day.
Okay.
And, honestly, your breakfast should be really one of your larger meals.
Really? Okay.
Because your body's been at rest all night.
Yeah.
Has been starved of water, nutrients.
Yeah.
Almost anything while you're sleeping because you're obviously not drinking, you're not eating.
Yep.
So when you get up in the morning, that's going to be your go-to. Your body's going to go to whatever you take in.
It's the base
for your energy.
Yeah.
For the next few hours or whatever until, let's say if you're a typical person, you eat a lunch at noon or 1 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
Your body's going to not have that until you get to that point. So
sure. Okay.
I think if you could find something that works for you and you don't have that stomach problem, you're going to have a little bit more energy and feel a lot better overall throughout that morning.
Yeah.
For sure.
So sort of the advice I'm hearing too on top of that is don't wait for the crash, eat cleaner. That's obvious. I've known all along I should be eating cleaner. But I mean,
yeah, I do this. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I do the same thing when I'm out there, man.
Yeah.
It's just that is what it is, and
but it's best to not wait for the crash.
Yeah.
So at some point, I should try to predict my body's needs. So let's give an example of like a rifle buck hunt. Rifle's coming right around the corner. Lots of people are gonna be listening to this who are in it for rifle deer. So I'm going to wake up early in the morning. I'm going to climb up a mean mountain and glass. So I'm high energy, I'm sweating, I'm huffing and puffing, get to my spot. Then I'm going to sit for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then when I don't see anything, I'm going to either do the same thing and huff and puff and hike to the next glassing spot, I'll do that a couple times, but then afternoon comes, it's going to be still hunting. I'm going to be moving more slow, less of a huffy pace. And then toward the end of the day, more of that climbing mountain and then sitting still for a long time. How can I kind of predict my body's needs and feed myself correctly through the start and stop?
Okay, so First off, let's just cover that, first thing in the morning. So what did you have before you decided to climb that hill and set that? Exactly. So you're already in a calorie and carb and protein deficit because you've spent energy that you may have had a little bit of, but you didn't have anything all night while you were sleeping. So now you're going, let's just say you got a good 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And then the next day, then it takes you 2 hours to get to your spot.
Yep.
So there's 10 hours of nothing.
Yeah.
You've had no intake whatsoever, maybe some water.
Yep. Water. Yep.
Yeah. So your body's already in a deficit.
Okay.
So then you decide to get up and move from there to a different location.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, my body says I need something, so I choke down some quick carbs in a candy bar.
Yep.
And so that gives me the carb rush that, I'm feeling great. I can do this.
But then by the time I hit that second clear cut, I'm sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. So then you're on the carb crash. So you want something that's cleaner. Definitely some carbs. You want something that's got some fats, some proteins.
Yeah.
Some other vitamins and minerals, no matter what it is, as long as it's not just straight carbs. And when you're doing the candy bar thing, that's sugar, straight carbs.
Okay. So when you say carbs, got it. Because
sugar is carbs.
I had noticed that sugar was absent from the conversation, but that's good to know. Sugar is carbs.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So, it's making me think about trying to find something I could eat for breakfast.
I mean, it's definitely okay to have some of that, but you should always mix it with other stuff too. That way you're not just getting that straight carb or sugar high and then crashing off of it.
Is meat a source of
protein?
If there's fats in it, or is it just protein is what you're getting from it?
Well, you're getting fats and proteins from it.
Sure.
But at the same time, that's a product that you are taking in that your body takes a little bit longer to process.
Sure. Okay.
And, I'll note that on this for our product for Rec Pac, it's micronized. So your body doesn't have to waste that extra energy to break it down. It's already broke down.
Yeah. So it's just an easier digestion.
Exactly.
It's already
your body's
halfway
going to
there.
absorb it a lot better.
Okay.
So, and outside of just, let's say, Rec Pac, if you wanted to do something in the mornings, if that doesn't work for you, try to find something else that your body can easily break down to use for energy, other than just straight carbs and sugars.
Okay. Wow, that's really, really helpful information. I did have one question about electrolytes.
Okay.
Is it good to preload electrolytes before sweating, or do you only want to take your electrolytes after you've sweat?
Not so much before or after, but during.
During, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely,
okay.
because you can also, same thing with electrolytes, you can have too much or you can have too little.
Yeah.
And you don't want that feeling of too much because it just, I don't know, to me, it's kind of similar to a carb crash. It's just like Debbie Downer.
Really? With too much?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have an overload of electrolytes.
I've heard of, I read something this summer about a guy had to be evacuated from electrolyte overdose.
Yeah.
He had to be taken out of the mountain for it.
Yep.
So, I mean, I knew that was a thing, but I didn't realize that it was, would come to the point of crashing before. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay.
And then, obviously with too little of electrolytes, then your body starts to lock up. You get cramps, different muscles, and it's hard to come back out of that. I mean, it takes some time, but it's doable.
Yep.
And that's why I suggest to do some like throughout the day. And just like with your meals, you want to do some throughout the day. Instead of everything all at once.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll tell you, for me, on a personal note, at one time, I was probably 210 pounds.
Oh yeah! Wow.
So I changed. I was still pretty physically active, but I had changed. What I did there is I changed my eating habits.
Oh.
So instead of eating big meals throughout the day,
I
eat every couple of hours. Something.
Anything. Oh, something small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That way I fuel my body. I'm not loading on something and just setting there sediment.
Yeah, yeah.
But I am still fueling my body throughout the day. So at the end of the day, I still have the same amount of calories, but I've kind of burnt those things throughout the day.
I see. Okay.
And
okay.
So
yeah.
Now that's where you see me. I run on an average of 175 pounds and have been that way for 20 years now.
That's with this like not eating a big giant meal in one sitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know, you want to fuel your body throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because you're exerting energy no matter what you're doing. You're breathing, you're exerting energy.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's some really good tips there that I'll be applying. One of the questions I was going to ask, and I feel like we kind of said it and went over it, is like, what are the signs that you're not properly fueling your body? And it is that it's the crash, isn't it?
Yeah, the crash, and then just your overall, the way your body tells you, hey, I'm not feeling good.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Like super fatigued.
Maybe it was too much intake on the carb. Maybe it wasn't enough.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, your body will tell you a lot of things if you listen to it.
Yeah. So if I drank a whole Rec Pac, is that going to overload my carbs?
No, because of the amount of fats and proteins in there.
Okay. So it's like the perfect balance.
Yes, and that's what we tried to hit on with the formula that Deed and the nutritionist came up. We wanted to try to come up with a perfect balance, or I wouldn't say perfect because there's nothing out there that's perfect.
Sure.
But a well-balanced, complete meal that's going to give you everything that you need for a meal replacement.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, like I said, I'm excited to try it. We've covered a lot.
Yeah.
We're over an hour and a half in.
Okay.
So
I could keep going.
Yeah,
No.
We could. That's the thing. We could always just keep going. But let's talk about our spiritual connection to the life in the outdoors. So you and me offline have had a little bit of conversations about this, but I really appreciate your perspective on how you have a spiritual view that comes from your experiences in the outdoors, and then also how you have this deep respect for the animals and this I don't know what word to use. You talked about whenever you kill an animal, there's sort of like a happiness and a sadness. So I'd kind of like to get your perspective on both of those points here. So I mean, I'll ask the general question. What's your spiritual connection to your life in the outdoors?
Spiritual connection to life in the outdoors. I don't know. I guess I've always kind of had some type of connection out there. I do a lot of solo stuff. When I'm out there doing those solo things in the backcountry, I feel most at home and most relaxed and comfortable. I mean, I'm in my element. I feel like I'm where I need to be. And I feel like I have a direct connection to everything around me when I am out there. Every move I make, everything I do, everything I see. Sometimes it can kind of be hard and difficult to put into words.
Yeah.
You have to experience it. You have to go out there and find that connection for yourself to experience it.
Because it goes beyond words, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's things that happen and things that I feel, I guess, I could say I can't explain it, but I feel it.
Because for me, it's something about my very core identity and how I exist on this planet and in this earth is through that awareness of the things around me, specifically the life.
Yeah.
One thing that we talked about is how you had an epiphany. You were just sitting there and you saw like a bug. Yep. And you realized how even significant just that one little animal is. And then we started talking about how, and some of them only live for a day. Yep. I don't know if you wanted to share anything about that.
Yeah, definitely. And, like I shared with you off the mic, if I had it here in front of me, I would read it. I did pretty much a full page and a half on that experience that day because it was to me, I guess extraordinary that
Yeah.
all of those thoughts, just sitting on the side of that mountain, taking a little break.
Yeah.
While I was out archery hunting, I noticed, and looked around at the little things, the bugs, the little trickle of a small stream that was running next to me, the sounds, the leaves on the tree, just everything was like amplified.
Yeah.
And I got this realization that each and every one of those things play a part out there, and each and every one of those things play a part in my life out there.
Yeah.
Once again, it comes back to, it's really hard to put into words. What you feel, what your mind thinks. And that's what I tried to do by writing that down, was to put it into words. And that way I could always go back and look at it. And a great reminder.
Is that available anywhere, or is that something you kept for personal?
No, that's something I kept. I do have it at home.
Yeah. It's not something you can look up, though. It's in Carl Lewallen's diary.
Maybe the question will come out, well, share it. So who knows, maybe at some point, maybe I'll throw it up there.
Yeah.
I have put a couple of different things out on social media at different times in my life. Maybe you could go back and find them. I don't know.
Sure.
The meaning of outdoors to me, I wrote up a little thing on that. It's pretty long.
Yeah. All of it just goes to show, too, this whole idea of our podcast is that there is a much deeper meaning to the life in the outdoors. And I haven't met a single person yet. I'm waiting. The day might come, and that person might just be intentionally blind or whatnot. But until then, I haven't met anyone who doesn't have some sort of a bigger spiritual perspective of something bigger than themselves that is out there, from being able to see that through their life in the outdoors, whether it's hunting or fishing or just loving nature, seeing the sunrise. It puts us in our place.
Yeah.
And we become aware of the small part that we are. And it points us to the fact that there's something bigger out there.
Yeah, definitely agreeable, and I guess maybe for me too, if I could put it in any kind of words, like the day, let's say, like that small bug, I realized how small I am.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah.
In nature or in the world that.
Yeah.
But even being that small, we all still play a part.
Yeah, I guess that's the second side of it, that I don't think it gets said as much, that we all play a part.
Yep.
Because, that was part of the epiphany you had, was you were amazed of the bug that plays a part.
Yeah.
And so here we are, the bugs that play a part. And, for me, the language that I use when I talk about that, because I'm a Jesus follower. And so, for me, that's my connection to God. And I see that as the thing that's bigger than me, that I see out there is God. And different people come from different perspectives and use different words, but it's just this unavoidable reality that there is something bigger than us out there.
Yeah. And, if you haven't gone out there and experienced that, then you need to go out there and experience that.
Open your eyes. Your eyes.
It'll happen if you give it a chance.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's where that deep respect for those animals come into play for me. You get this high of an adrenaline rush. And then for me, I get this low. Yes, I killed an animal. There's that high or that adrenaline rush. And yes, there's that low because I did take that animal's life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that sacrifice that animal made is not going to go to waste.
Yeah.
I am going to utilize it in every aspect.
Yep. Yeah, and I mentioned this to you earlier about how I was reading in the book of Luke this week, and I saw where Jesus was talking about numbering the hairs on our head and how as humans we're so valuable. But then in that, he brought up the illustration of a sparrow, and he said, I mean, a sparrow's only worth 2 pennies, and yet your Father in heaven knows where they go, and he provides for them and feeds them. And to me, that kind of was an epiphany. It made me think of turkey hunting, you know?
Yeah.
And just like when you kill this big bird, and you know, you don't really, for most of us, we don't really know where it was born or what its life was like leading up to this point. But for me to think that God knows, and you know, to the degree that animal's life had a purpose, you know, it's different than yours and mine's purpose, but it still was playing a part in the environment and in its population and in its food chain, and then to provide for me and my family, you know, whether it's just the activity of pursuing that animal, or if it's successful, then actually gaining the meat and the turkey fan on my wall that represents the memory, you know. So I really relate to what you're saying about that. It's like a reverence of the life of the animal that you took, even something as small as a turkey. You know, you got to think about that. Yeah. It started from an egg and it hatched and it had a whole life history up until you crossed paths one day and killed it, you know? And that was the end of that turkey's life. You were the last chapter of his book. It's pretty amazing to think of it that way.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree with the statement that you just said too. And not only that, you emphasized there too, that yes, we killed it.
Yeah.
We took a life of another living creature, and a lot of people have a hard time understanding that.
Yeah.
And some are okay with it, some aren't. And in life and death,
yeah,
that is what it is, you know. I mean, there's no easy way, no better way to put it, no way to explain it.
Yep.
You know, yes, I killed another living creature.
We are consumers of, you know, energy through whether it's another living animal or plants or whatever it is. But, you know, there is that like aspect of the reality of being human, that we are omnivores.
Yes.
We eat meat.
Yeah.
And in order to eat meat, something dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not that I find joy in taking that. My whole take on that, I would much rather do something like the turkey or the deer or the elk than to go buy something off the supermarket shelf.
Yeah.
Then for me, it's the satisfaction of knowing that where that animal came from. Where that product that I grew in my garden came from.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's just a certain amount of satisfaction there in knowing that, you know, that's another one of those topics that's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, like, it's something, there's like an aspect of it that's self-reliance. There is that, you know, the satisfaction in like, I provided this, you know, with my hands. And then there's also the side of it that's like a part of the nature of being a human being and part of what we're here for on this earth. And I think that there's a big natural satisfaction that comes from that has to do with our identity.
Yeah.
And fulfilling that identity. And then there's another side, which is factory farming is just frankly gross. There's no other way around that. It's necessary to feed millions of people, you know? Yeah. And, you know, billions of people around the world, but it's also just, it has downsides, major downsides. And so when we get to kind of break out of that system and go eat a deer that was naturally born in the mountains versus, you know, an artificially inseminated animal in a factory, it's just so different.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a need for both of it. And, I mean, like for you and I, let's say, for example, we could go out and we do what we do and we don't have, like, let's say, a huge issue.
Yeah.
There are people that couldn't do what we do.
Yeah.
Even though they eat meat, they could not see or be a part of taking an animal's life.
They have to pretend it's not meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've known people who can't even eat meat with bones in it.
Yeah.
Like they, bone-in chicken thigh. They can't eat it. They just can't do it. Or if they find a tendon, then it ruins the meal for them. While we're out here cutting apart these animals in the woods and bringing them home, it's just different people. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole process of, let's say, hunting, it is just way different than the process of going and picking up something that's already pre-prepared for you to cook.
Yeah.
And
you're completely disconnected from the source.
Yeah, there is definitely a disconnect there. And I think that's where, honestly, for me, on a personal basis, there should be some programs out there to help those people understand that connection or be involved with that connection and somehow, and then decide, okay, yeah, that's for me or that's not for me. Totally.
Yep. And it starts as a child, like for me, I grew up on a couple acres and we had pigs and cows and chickens, and I bred chickens and we ate our chickens and our pigs and our cows. And it's just like an important part of life for me. But, an inner city kid, I saw this study once that there's like a large percentage of inner city kids who've never even seen a cow.
Wow.
Yet they've eaten cow.
Yeah.
They drink milk. They've never seen a cow.
Huh.
And like a moo cow. And, it's just amazing. But I think you're right. There should be some better education there for the process. I mean, I don't know. It would be amazing if everyone had to cut apart a quarter of a pig or something, or even, how far back you want to go in the process. But yeah.
I mean, even in our school system, get back to some of the roots in our science class, we dissected animals.
Yep.
We learned about it, I mean, that was a basis.
You bring that up. And I graduated in the year 2015, so I'm pretty young. So, and, that was 10 years ago, so who knows even further where they are now. But the only thing I dissected was a nightcrawler, a worm.
Oh, okay.
And so that's even further away from, like, a frog at least has bones and joints and a heart. The worm, we found out the worms have hearts, but, it's just less and less. It's more and more different than us to go from a cat. My mom talks about dissecting a cat in biology class, and then to frogs were popular, and now I did a worm.
Worms.
Who knows what they might not even be dissecting anything at all now, but if they are, but yeah, it's just part of that separating us from the animals too, making them too different than us.
And depending, and honestly too, depending on what state you're in the U.S., and or your background or some of these smaller schools and programs. I honestly think there should be an outdoor elective to teach some of those things, and it should be an elective. And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. And if you do, great. And I've got to experience a little bit of that and just seeing different things. So I happened to be in Texas and went to the state fair there.
Yeah.
And they had a whole area set up with veterinarians, and they were showing actual surgeries for everybody to walk up and watch physically.
Wow.
Cattle birth right there.
Oh, man.
I mean, everything. And, in that community, that area, was perfectly normal. And I seen another article with a school in Alaska, and one of their courses, they were bringing in moose that had been hit by something, like a train or a car or something.
Yeah.
They would bring it in and teach these kids how to break it down and process it.
That's awesome. That's cool.
As an elective. And if you don't want that elective, then don't select it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. This is making me think too, because, I work at a church, so I think of like church programs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it would be really awesome to see that in the school system. I don't know how possible it is to see that in the school system, but in the church, there's an opportunity for that. I'm actually working with the Life Outdoors, which Rec Pac is a sponsor of the Life Outdoors, but we're working on these discipleship programs that are like classes, sort of small group is the vision we're seeing, where someone who knows a lot about hunting and fishing and the outdoors lifestyle can kind of like mentor we're making a 12-week program for people who are interested in learning about hunting and also learning about God. And it's a opportunity where you get to do the discipleship part together, but then also actually go out and put these practices into play together. So like actually going hunting, tracking, like learning how to do these skills. But then we're pointing out like the spiritual ramifications of all of those activities. But there's an opportunity there for if someone, once that's available, if someone wants to provide that for their church, they could have some younger people, maybe from the youth group or even just for adults who want to learn that, to try to teach that, because it does need to be taught, like what you're saying. And whether or not we can make it happen through, the school system, or if there's just ways that we can teach the people in our lives about those things, I do think it goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. And, the Life Outdoors guy, Nate, awesome guy to be involved in on that. I mean, amazing guy.
Yeah.
And I think that is great, and it'll only grow from there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Yep.
And it'll start reaching out farther and farther. And like you said, it shouldn't be just geared to our youth, but our adults who've never had that opportunity and have always wanted to do something in the outdoors and make that connection in the outdoors.
Most of the guys that I interact with through our club, Salem First Hunting and Fishing Club, I love them. Most of them are adult onset hunters. It's so great because they're wanting to learn how to hunt.
Yeah.
Then they find our little club, and they're like, oh, these guys take me out duck hunting, I'll go with them, and then I end up making friends with these guys, and they come to all of our events, and, it's been really cool. But, to whatever degree, I don't really play like a role in their life and teaching them anything, but, it's just that kind of community built up around it. And that
you're giving them that opportunity to experience that, to where if it wasn't through you or here, then they would never have that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I tried to play that same role when I was coaching sports. I would try to draw those kids in that never really did sports or didn't have the funds or the home environment to have them involved in sports. And I tried to really pull a lot of those kids in and get them involved in something else other than running around on the street.
Yep. Because that, what, it's true about men too, though, not just boys, but men, is that bored men do dumb things. And that's true in my life and the lives of people around me. When you get bored, you do stupid things. So keep yourself busy. Get out there in the woods.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll take up some time for you for sure.
All right. Well, could you let us know where we can buy Rec Pac, follow Rec Pac, learn more? And also you mentioned different writing things. If you have you mentioned a blog post or, just how can we know more about Rec Pac and know more about you?
Okay. Well, you can find Rec Pac. We are on Amazon, but we do have our own webpage, and Amazon does not recognize any discount codes that you might get.
Okay.
So you need to go to our own page, order directly from our page.
Get the discount codes.
And we also have all the answer questions that you might need from our exact web page. You could go check out some of the blogs. We just finished up one I just did, on my experience in the outdoors.
Yeah.
Along with Rec Pac.
So that's where those blogs are, is on the Rec Pac website?
Yes, correct.
Cool. Okay.
And you could also find us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We try to stay up to date on that, post any advances and or changes that we might make in the product, or maybe eventually some new flavors coming out.
Yeah.
We're a fairly new company out there, so we're still growing.
Sure.
We are in a few stores on shelves, like locally here. You can find us at G4.
Okay, cool.
The Bow Rack in Springfield.
Yep.
You
hit some of the archery shops.
The Mountain Shop in Bend, and then there's another outdoor shop in Portland that carries us as well.
Okay, cool.
Just small mom and pop shops. So support your local for sure.
Support local. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, outside of that, I mean, even if you wanted to reach out to me directly or give me a follow, I'm at Carl.Lewallen on Instagram. I pretty much repost and or post up any updates or anything that Rec Pac does.
Yeah.
You could reach out to one of our other people, Joy. She's a great person. She's also a Knowles teacher, which is a backcountry teacher in horseback riding survival. So she travels around the country teaching these courses.
Nice. Sweet.
And, there's a lot of resources out there.
Great. All right. Well, thank you for your time. It was a great episode. We covered a lot of ground, and it's a little bit longer of a show for everyone. So this is wonderful, and I look forward to trying Rec Pac. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And maybe look forward to some future ones and just
absolutely
a session on outdoors.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening.